Hello! Today we will play the Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era demo that you can currently find on Steam. We are playing this here on our little Steam Deck and see if we get to good frame rates and how good the game feels already on a handheld. So this is the Steam Deck OLED with a 90Hz panel, so theoretically we can take benefit of up to 90 FPS. Let's see if we get somewhere close there. And let's also see in the settings first what we start with in terms of graphical setup. So the menu itself doesn't seem to be responsive to the controller outputs or inputs. So let's use just by hand basically setting up the details here. So we have native resolution 800p. If I can scroll down here. So, and we are having VSync enabled, 90 FPS maximum. Anti-aliasing is turned on, and we have high presets, which is also the highest setting that we can select. So basically a native resolution and highest settings is what we start with here. Okay. So, since I'm new to the game, let's start with the tutorial. Okay. Let's see what we get in terms of frame rate here. High settings, native resolution. Okay, at the moment it's still 90 FPS. Let's see what happens when we get into the gameplay. Now we just went down to 1 FPS here inside the menu. I hope we get a bit more when the gameplay starts. Welcome to the tutorial. Okay. So it's not really adapted yet to, let's say, to the Xbox controller inputs. Let's see if we can, so we can move the map also here. And I guess we need to move to the marked area, okay. So we're here. How do we move? Okay, so we are having around 60 FPS here at the moment. Between 50 and 60, let's say. So we have spent all of our movement points, so we need to get into the next turn, I guess. Are you sure you want to enter turn? Yes. So I hope until the full release they make this Steam Deck verified, so that we can also use all the Steam Deck inputs and don't need to use the touchscreen. Now we need to continue our way here. Let's see if we also get into a fight. There's an object. Okay, so we need to interact with this here. Hello. Here we go. Okay, there will be now one enemy. Let's go into one fight also to see what the frame rate says about fights. At the moment it's moving in between 40 to 60 FPS, I would say, even if we have the cap at 90. We're also using more or less 14 gigabytes out of the 16 gigabytes of RAM that we have available. But yeah, since this is also a turn-based game, I guess we are also fine with having a bit of an unstable frame rate. It's always more than 40, I would say, between 40 and 60. So that should not be a problem here in this game. So seems to be an easy battle, but we need to take another turn. We need to collect first 9,000 gold. Oh, come on. Okay. So now we need to fight. Okay, so let's see what the frame rate says about this first enemy fight. Actually, it quite likes it, so we are at 90 FPS here right now. So if we are also allowed to take a turn. Let's go. And attack. That was a nice one. And an easy win, as it said before, easy battle. And frame rate also around 70 FPS here. Congratulations on winning your first battle. So let's continue our journey. Hire reinforcements. Let's see where we can do that. Here maybe. A swordsman. Nice. So that we can fight against tougher enemies. Okay. And our turn. And hire also here. Another swordsman. So I adjusted it. Okay. I think that's it here. And let's go to this one. And a fight against a bigger enemy. Let's start the battle. So we are moving between 60 to 70 FPS here. Let's get a bit closer to the enemy. Can we already attack? Yes we can. No, we cannot. So maybe let's move first our swordsman a bit closer into combat. It's around 60 FPS here, everything. Nice one. And that should be also another win for us. Here we go. Victory. Got so leveled up. Okay. So we can select here also an improvement. So, nice. Continue a bit the road. End of turn. Well done, you completed the first part of the tutorial and now the basics of the game. Okay, I think with that we have a good idea on how the game runs here on the Steam Deck. So performance is not a problem at all. That was already native resolution with highest settings. We're always moving in between 60, 70 FPS actually. The game is also turn-based, so we are quite flexible in terms of frame rate. What the developers need to adjust is the controller settings. So it's would be good to have it Steam Deck verified and that all the inputs can be done via the controller and we don't need to use the touchscreen. So I will keep an eye on that for the full release, but so far so good. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.